How's everyone doing? That wasn't exactly how I meant to say that. There's ways to convey things. There's what I did. How's everyone doing tonight? Not sure that was any better. Alright. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing... Hope you're all doing... Like that echo? Okay. Echo solved. Echo solved. All right. What are we doing tonight? I just thought, unless something comes up, we can do pretty much anything. That's right. You set your mind to it. You can do just about anything. Except travel at the speed of light. But, let's start by resetting our Twitch alerts, just in case. This is still a problem. This is still a problem that we haven't solved. Haven't solved at all. Which is upsetting. I'll show you what happens. We put code in place that I thought would fix this. Oh, we're on our kind cluster. Let's fix that. If you come in here and look at the logs, they'll have stopped. Not getting any new ones. This is a new thing with Twitch. Oh, actually, maybe we're still cooking. I said that. Did our new deployment fix this? Huh. Made a liar out of me, no matter what. Always does. Always does. Every single time I go to tell you guys something, it's matter of fact. Whatever it is, makes a liar out of me. Okay, well, you know what? Forget I said anything. You know what we're going to do, though? We are going to... we're going to go ahead and restart it. Anyways. RDJ Power, how are you doing? How are you doing? You know what? I don't have all of chat in the right place. What number is it? Go ahead and decode it. Go ahead and decode it. You know what? Sometimes when I go to a stream, I've got to have a title for the stream. And I don't know, I'm going to mess around with some of the code that we have for the front end and the back end. And I don't know what we'll end up doing. So I had to come up with a stream, and I was naming, I'm going to do living the life. And then I was I'm going to encode something in base 64 and encode that in binary. And then I was you know what would be even funnier? Is if I didn't do that and just put a lot of ones and zeros in there and just walked away. So that's what I did. I literally was just I'll put a random amount of ones and zeros in here. That's I thought most people would expect that I had base 64 encoded some ANSI characters in it. Scott B, do I see you on Twitch or on YouTube? I see you on Twitch. Yeah. RDJ Power is on YouTube. Oh, honestly, RDJ Power, I'm just going to call you Power because that's going to be easier. It's going to be easier for me. Or RDJ. Or RJ. There, I just shortened the crap out of it. Anyways, I need to get YouTube alerts for like followers and stuff. I need to do it. I don't have it. I mean, I barely have Twitch working. You're doing good, RDJ Power. So, Scott, these platforms don't show me who's watching. At least I don't think. Maybe they do. So I can't like go and see. I can see a number, in general number. But I know that that's pretty wrong. Or can be wrong. So it's like a guesstimate. Which I think is generally fine. I think actually this kind of sucks because when you're talking about streaming to 100 people, if it's off by plus or minus 5, it doesn't really matter. But if you're streaming to 3 people and it's off by minus 3, so it says 0, that can hurt for a new streamer, where it doesn't hurt the larger streamers. So I think that functionality hurts smaller streamers, or at least their morale. Because I know that this is true, by the way, because like for the longest of times, I would stream to like 1 or 2 people, and as they would chat, it would say that I had 0 viewers. Like they're actively responding to me. I know they exist, but yeah. And it's probably a cost optimization. Like they probably could give an exact number, but it would just be expensive. It's probably cheaper and easier, especially for like the bigger streams. Now, that being said, they could just have 2 algorithms. That's how Twitter solves this problem. Is Twitter has 2 algorithms depending on the size of your account. So if you're, if you're Pirate Software, you get algorithm B. If you're Merrick Counts, you get algorithm B or A. A is exact, B is fuzzy. I'm glad you're doing well, RDJ Power. It'd be nice if YouTube would restream on Twitch. I restream on both. Fight Stick. I would talk to Toggle about it. He is... I'm on both right now. I actually just use Restream. So Toggle does it a different way. Now, I could do it the way Toggle's doing it. I could do it the way Toggle... You know what? I'm going to draw while doing this just so that it's not like a blank screen. That seems like a better thing to do. I know my drawings are actually terrible, but it feels better than just talking. Yeah, my drawings are pretty bad. My drawings are pretty bad. So how Toggle does it is he actually encodes 2 streams. So he encodes one and sends it to YouTube, and he encodes another to so this is like Twitch, and this is YouTube over here. So now, for the longest of times, I couldn't do this. This is how Toggle does it. I couldn't do this because my bandwidth could barely support 1. My upload speeds here were terrible. So this was impossible for me. So what I did, and what I still do at this point, is, this is my, well, I guess I can draw out my whole setup. I'm gonna make this green. So I have my Linux PC here, and I have a little Mac Mini that sits over here. We're gonna make this puke orange because it's a Mac. Basically there's some stuff to connect these things together. This Mac Mini captures the screen. And this sends this to a service called we'll make them blue. Restream. You can go Google Restream.io. And what all restream does is basically takes that one stream of bits and sends it to different places. So they do what ToggleBit does that I haven't been able to do. This part right here. And these, goes here and goes here. And this was particularly useful. And this is actually both ways. This is why I use the one audio interface, because I can now hear what's happening on the Mac Mini. So when there's an alert on the Mac Mini, I can hear it. This means I only had one pipe out, which, I was getting like, on a good day, I was getting like 7 megabytes per second. Megabits per second, sorry. Which is not quite enough to stream. I mean, it is enough to stream 1080p, but there would be dips below 6, and that's why we would have the frames cut out and everything. So I couldn't do what ToggleBit did, because that's what needs more bandwidth. He needs 2 streams of 7 megabits per second up, which is not what I had. Now that we have the fiber, we could do this. You get 20 up. 20 up would have been nice. I literally could not get 20 through the cable provider. So now I have 1,000. Actually, a little bit more. Clocks in about 1.2. Most times I check it. 1.2K up and down. So, problem solved. Gray Hatter, you're welcome. You're welcome. I actually thought about making it in ASCII. ASCII? My goodness. I don't know why I couldn't say that one. I thought about making it in ASCII, and I was going to do it, but the whole reason I did this was because I didn't have anything to put there. Like, I'm going to mess around with what we have, but that sounds like a bad title. I'm just going to mess around. Like, my wife would probably be upset with it, is all I'm saying. So, yeah. I literally just put random 1s and 0s. So you're welcome. You're welcome. RDJ Power is still trying to make sense out of it, even though I've admitted that it's nothing. All right, you know what? Maybe I'll start leaving you guys codes. Maybe there'll be codes. It won't be so easy, though. All right, let's let's get into this. All right. Wow, that last drink was a real killer. All right, the first secret I leave for you guys. I'll even leave you a hint. I already have an idea for it. And it will be a binary representation of something. That's how we're going to do giveaways from the... Okay, that's terrible. Not going to do that. I've actually thought about wanting to do something like that with my giveaways, but my giveaways are usually geared towards people trying to learn. And then I'm like, if I only make it so that like the people that don't need to learn could win, then I haven't really helped. But it would make them so much fun, right? Make them fun. this here. Why do I use WesTerm? I like it. Do you want to... So I go back and forth between WesTerm and Alacrity. I go between WesTerm and Alacrity. I think WesTerm is probably my favorite. I think WesTerm is probably my favorite. Alacrity plays better with Zellage. So, if I had to be critical of WesTerm, maybe the one downfall that it has is that it doesn't play well with Zellage, or Zellage doesn't play well with it one way or another. Seen an update notification? Oh, this? This is kind of annoying. I'll give you that. It's probably also configurable. I mean, the thing is, I just have to run... I just have to run Pacman to update it. I don't know. It doesn't annoy me that much. Yeah, it's probably true. That's probably a good point. I mean, though, what business knowledge are you talking about? I mean, your terminal knows what version it is, right? So your terminal running locally knows what version. And it doesn't even have to phone home, right? It can just go to a CDN and ask for what's the latest version and just check if it's greater or lower. It's not like it doesn't need at any point to send information out. It can just make a GET request. Now, I don't know if which one WesTerm is doing, but if it's just making a GET, I don't mind. It's not sending any information. It's literally just checking what the latest one is, comparing it with its own version, and moving on. Now, if it's sending information out and then getting responses back, that would probably be a problem. I'll check into it. Yeah, but my system does a lot of GET requests. I mean, I could unplug the Ethernet cable, you're right. But like, yeah, I could unplug the Ethernet cable. And if I was trying to be in some place that, your web browser makes a lot of GET requests. I don't know. I'm not sure I see the point. And like, it's fine. Like that's fine. To me, if it's just asking a GET request, this is fine. I have a billion things on my machine that does this GET request. And if it's not sending information from like, my system information and stuff up, I don't care if it's just finding out what the latest version is and checking it on its version. Like, this is fine. I would care if it was sending information. I will check into it, though, because I would care. As far as the GET request, I understand what you're saying, but this system here isn't one that I don't use browsers, and I don't experiment with things that do that type of stuff. So it's not a secure PC. If I was on a secure facility and on a secure network, absolutely, there's things that you have to think about, but I'm streaming off of this PC. I am streaming off of this PC. So in that case, WesTerm is a highly configurable terminal that checks a lot of boxes and is fairly performant. And yeah, that's, I guess, I don't know. Greyhatter, this will work without the network. I know that because I've broken the network on it. And WesTerm still works. It doesn't make its check. So just because it makes a check also doesn't mean that it doesn't work, right? I think that would be conflating two issues. Now, if you said that WesTerm didn't work if there was no network connection, that would also be a problem. Oops. NPM, the worst. I didn't actually want you here. Let's go here. All right. You guys should see this. Overflow made this. You guys know my crappy UI? I'll have to show Sergeant Pepper. So Overflow, fantastic, made this for the null cloud. You know my crappy little landing page? We'll have to talk to him about the gopher, but that's okay. And it kind of works. It's kind of cool. Flashbang. That makes me feel good. He did that. Give him a raise? I gave him 1,000% raise. 1,000% raise. Yeah, I think Overflow, you know, learned math the hard way. He learned math yesterday when I gave him the 1,000% raise. So yeah, all right, let's see. We got our stuff up and running. Let's check it out. Okay, so I was actually dealing with this a little bit yesterday. And I think what I need to try doing is getting a new token. So I was playing around with sending just an old token, but like that wasn't valid. I don't need the token to be valid. And I understand that you should always, if you're trying to judge if a token is or use a JWT token, you should actually check that it's properly signed. I get that, but I don't actually need to because that gets checked in a different portion of the stack. But I wasn't able to actually get the contents of the JWT without checking if it was valid, which was really annoying. Really annoying. Let's see. I wanted Postman. What if the null cloud is dereferenced? Don't dereference the null cloud. Don't do it. It's like dividing by 0. Just don't do it. found out the hard way what the null channel is all about. All right. So yeah, watch this. We'll just, I'm sure it will work exactly how. So I have a JWT, and we can actually go and read this JWT. JWT.io. So this is what we want. We want this sub. That's the thing that we want. Now, it's not valid anymore. And so if you actually try to run a signature validation, it will fail because it's not valid anymore. So anyways, yeah, this is what I was trying to get the Go code to do, and I was failing at it. So send the request. We can see here, and this is where like we get nothing. Now it seems to get the parts out correctly. I need to actually update that. Let's update this code a little bit. All right, so this was me playing around with like getting the claim. So this is the claim data, the second part. And so this was me putting out the parts. Let's actually do it like this though. Part 1. Let's 2, 3. Okay, to delete this, I'm just going to do like what? Works. Not exactly what I wanted, but it worked. I don't know. I still suck at I don't know what happened there. All right, let's see. We don't need this. Plus, oh, this is okay. I was not doing it at the right spot. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Either zero. No, I refuse. I want to 0 and 1 index this right here. I refuse to be limited by your notion that I can't mix and match. Look, 1 is 0 indexed by not my choice. This has to be 0 indexed. This is my choice, and I chose. And it's a heinous choice. I get it. Go does have format strings. Absolutely. I just wasn't using them. One of the problems here, or not, no, this doesn't have a problem. I could do a format string here. Like, what does it matter if I do this? So like I could do this. Well, you know, I could do this. But I can just concatenate them. And instead of actually doing a format string. So this is just quicker and easier for something I'm just using as a debug message that I will then delete. All right. It looks like we're getting the different parts. So this is the EYJ to FQ. Yeah, and this is the EYJ to the FQ. Let's see. I guess this one also starts EYJ. Fantastic. To the FQ. Are they supposed to be the same start and end? Oh, they would, right? Because it's a JSON thing. Okay. That would make sense because they're encoding the same chunk of data. So we got to go like a few in. Which I don't feel like doing. We're getting it. So this one is this is the actual signature 07BG. Let's see. Yeah, 16.0. Let's see, 07BG. Yep. So we're getting the three parts. Which, I mean, I'm excited about. It's excited about it. See? Yay! Okay. Okay. So, it doesn't like parsing this token. And I have tried many methods to get it to just parse it without verifying it. So I jumped to this parse. So I was doing this, which was verifying it, and I was trying to get it to just be okay with it. And maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to have a valid token and everything would work. But the thing is, I was trying to do it without it because it doesn't need to be here. Rust is minorly used at this point. The majority is Go. Yeah, we can print the error. This changed a lot through it, and actually was the reason I stopped doing it was because it was making the other things hard to read. This changed back and forth for a couple of things, but we'll read it again. Let's see. That is. Let's move this up to here. Rust isn't too big of a pain. It takes a little getting used to. It can be a pain, I guess, but oh, I wanted to use this token. So what I wanted to do here, the reason I'm not returning here, really you should if you failed to parse the token, is I just wanted to see what the different things were. Because like this is giving me the parts and stuff, so I wanted to, I want to print those things out. I don't care that it failed, because I'm just exploring. What I'd like to do then is, let's see, let's do new ID, and let's do something like token. Yes, that actually, not what I pressed. That right there. So this will use the token that's returned from this parse unverified. Now I was passing a pointer into the claims, so I thought that I could just use the claims. but this was not coming back. But I did notice that I just wasn't so maybe that was my problem. We'll see. We'll see. We're just gonna print this out down here. And see if we get that. We'll let it build. If you don't want to worry about lifetimes, use references. Or don't use references and just use smart pointer things and copy your data. It's not the most proficient, but most of the things that you write don't matter that they're super proficient. Ooh. Well, I screwed something up. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. Thank you, Go. All right. Where's my code? In the stack. Conversion JWT claims is JWT claims map claims. Not map claims. Oh, it's a pointer to map claims. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. Where did I do that? Here? Okay. We got it. Yeah. That won't work though, will it? What is a smart pointer? Think string. String is a smart pointer in Rust, right? That isn't going to be fine. Let's see. I don't know what to do here. Yeah, this is like really crappy. This is why I don't like Go. This type of stuff that you get into right here. I don't know why I don't like. This is why I generally gear away from Go. I'm just going to see if the other stuff made any difference. And then we'll come back to that. Dude, when you have to create a pointer to a string, it's so annoying. So in Rust, this is a smart pointer. I also don't know why it's so as bad as it is. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so we still got the parts down right. We can probably delete the parts stuff. Wait. This is like not right, but it's close. It's not right. It's got the whole thing in there. It's got the whole thing in there. But it's close. We're close. I'm happy about that. I can't believe that I made that dumb of a mistake. I didn't dereference the pointer into this parse unverified. Now, oh, No, it might be dead on. It might be dead on. Check this out. This right here, from the claims, I don't actually print it. I just do nothing here because I'm awesome like that. I'm awesome like that. Yeah. That was not a skill issue. Now we have to wait for that whole stupid freaking container to rebuild. I find Dutch, like, I find that the edge cases of Go are what really don't make me not like Go. I don't know if that makes sense, but like the core of Go makes me really love Go. And then it's like the you know, the type system isn't the best. It's not the worst either, but it's not the best. And you really feel that like when you're really trying to leverage Go. And then, yeah, I don't know. What is line 60 and 61? They're for kicks and giggles. I don't know what this is. Dude, it was late last night when I was just trying to get this to print something. You know how many times I've gone over this and written different stuff to try to get it to actually parse this stupid freaking ID? Look at that. We finally got it. We've got a working thing. Sweet goodness. So I have no, let's see. Let's see. What is this? Okay. I don't know what this is. We're gonna just delete that and pretend somebody else wrote that. I mean, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I am formatting a string into a different string. It's fine. It's pretty standard practice. Just to make sure that you're sanitizing your strings, you know? You don't want a little Bobby Tables happening with your token, right? Okay, yeah, we're just going to delete that because that was pretty dumb. Oh, this is why. Does it? What is this? What is this? This is why. It's technically an interface, an empty interface, because I love Go. It's an empty interface because I love Go. This is why. I should be able to just handle it here, though. Like, this should be fine here. I mean, again, this has... You're talking about the code that has had 20 or 30 iterations on it, Dutch. So, like, I don't remember every aspect of it. Let's delete these. Don't care. This should now fail not on an invalid token. We actually should. So I debated. I first tried to get this while verifying the token. The problem is that the token that I'm getting from Clerk only has a short period of time to live because I want it to go straight from the browser to the back end and then basically be done so that the front end has to get another token. Because how Clerk works is it actually has an opaque token, just like Ori, but that opaque front end token can actually sign a JWT. That's how it works. So it just like signs one for a once off thing, which I like. Oh, I see. I need to do this user ID. I need to use the search more. Actually, I could just... I did underscore because I've written too much Rust recently. And so I underscored that crap. I guess that's... Yeah, my... Okay, so let's clean this up a little. When I say something like, I think that Rust is just a better language, it always ends up being this weird... I don't know, maybe I'm the only one, but I end up hitting these edge cases all the time where it's like, what the crap? I wanted to do this simple thing, and now I have a pointer to a string, and... And now I'm doing this type of stuff because, let's see. That was just because I didn't have a string. Yeah. Really, the reason Kubernetes uses them is because it is an optional string, which is important because a empty string is different than a not set string, which is what Kubernetes is wanting out of it. It's a nullable field. So that's where Kubernetes is actually doing it for the right reason, but it still is... The Rust optional is just really awesome. It could have been handled differently. How would you handle it differently? Would you have a field called isSet? You could have an isSet on every field. That feels rough. PHP. Field name string? That's not an optional. If you have a struct like this in Go, yeah, let's just do this. Sure, whatever you want to hallucinate. Okay, this is field name string. This is not optional, right? I don't know what this is. I've never seen this. Is this a Go thing? I have literally never seen it. If it is a Go thing, I've just not used it. Oh! I thought you were saying that there was better ways to do it in Go. Okay, yeah, it doesn't exist in Go. You're right. Optional doesn't exist in Go. This is 100% what I was saying. Thank you, Dutch. Thank you, Dutch. Okay, I was like, that doesn't exist. Like, I've never seen that. Okay. Okay. Okay, we're on the same page. It doesn't exist. You can't do it. Boo-hoo. All right. Let's see. What was that log? Where was that log? All right. We're deployed. Let's see what that log says. Boom, boom. Look, I'm not rewriting in Rust. Not right now. I know that we would love it. And there are aspects that we will rewrite in Rust. There are aspects of it we will rewrite in Rust. There's aspects that I think, not the one we're currently working in, not the one that we're currently working in. The one we're currently working in, I think, is a prime candidate for Rust rewrite. But the operators, I don't know that the ecosystem is there. And I could spend my time to get the ecosystem there, but if I was spending my time getting the ecosystem there, I wouldn't be spending my time working on the null cloud. So like, probably not those. Probably not those. Now, once we get Legion in place, we can look at rewriting those operator things into Legion things. And, you know, maybe Legion's Rust community Rust support will be better. All right. Okay, so this is a problem. We shouldn't do that for wait, not found in context, failing auth. Didn't we put it in the context? I feel like we did right here. How's everybody doing tonight? All right, so let's now track down this next evolving issue. We are getting a user ID not found in context, failing auth. Okay, so this is on the new user request, which shouldn't actually be validating if the user exists, because this is the API you call when the user doesn't exist. So if that's happening, we have a middleware issue. We have a middleware issue. Okay, so we have our user middleware and our auth middleware. We're putting those in here in the middleware function check. Okay. And we're doing the add middleware headers here. But on users here, we are only adding... Oh, we are adding the auths check, aren't we? Wait. We are checking for it, but it should be in there. Now, this is where I don't know that these middlewares are done in order. They should. Middlewares are usually chaining things. Dane, Axiom is a good place to go. There's a couple places for a simple API for Rust. So you have Axiom. Wow, that's not how you spell Axiom. This is a good one. There is Actix, which is another really good one. There was one that kind of died and then kind of came back to life. Rust Rocket. I think it's Rocket. Yeah, Rocket. This one was like really, really popular. Then the lead dev had some issues and it kind of died. But the lead dev has like gotten it back into the community's hands. And like there's actually stuff like it. There was like no work done on it for like a year. And this one is kind of interesting with how they use macros. A lot of people found this one really easy. I don't know that it's the performant option. If you're running the performant one, it's either Actix or Axiom. I don't know. My gut says that Actix is, but I've not checked them, so. Leptos and you are actually only front-end frameworks, yeah. I use Actix. I like Actix, but I can't tell you. Actually, since ToggleBit's on, yeah, I don't know. I haven't like compared Actix versus Axiom versus Rocket. Like I said, Rocket was kind of dead. Recently been kind of revived. I think your performance is going to beat anything Go has most of the time anyways, but... ToggleBit, that's not what we do here. We find the most performant crate. That is our need. That is our need. So I understand that they're chained. I was just trying to validate in what chain it becomes. See, Toggle, I always have a hard time until I've actually used both of them to tell which one I would want to use for a project. That's like always my issue. And then sometimes it's around the project that you're wanting to do. You know, sometimes different libraries. Yeah. If you're just getting new to Rust, I would pick the one that looks easiest to you and just learn that one and try it. I don't know them well enough to... I don't write WebSocket servers in Rust a whole... WebSocket servers? But web servers in Rust a whole lot. I don't think... yeah, I agree. I think somebody gave me a bad link to read. I used Tungstenite in the WebSocket server for the Twitch alerts. So this is what I was doing to chain. I think I'm doing it right. And I think our log says that, right? We don't print anything from this one now. Let's go and print something from this. Oh, we do. Maybe it's not running? No, it is running. It is running. Okay, yeah. So it's running first, but then this is not finding the user ID in the context, right? Advert your eyes, Toggle. Advert your eyes. So your web server should never be a bottleneck because your web server should almost always be stateless. Like, unless if you're saying that you have a stateful service, you should be able to run your website on Python and it should be fine. You can just run as many instances of that Python as you like and it's fine, right? Your web server, even if it's dealing with logic, doesn't need to be dealing with state, right? Now, if you need it to have state, like a WebSocket server, that's an entirely different issue, I guess. And then you would care about it. Absolutely. So Dane, if you're just wanting to, if you have a plan for something and you want to try, like, Rust is great, and I love Rust, as all of you know. You just... Rust is great. Don't get me wrong. I don't think you need to worry about performance for your web front end, is all I was saying. But having a project to learn something is a great way to learn it. Otherwise, you won't force yourself to write the code week over week. Right, so it's this one. We're getting the context. Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. That's always going to fail, right? That's not a... That's not an int that we put in there. This does cause us problem, though. We've got to change our entire database model. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I didn't know what the user's ID was because this is actually getting driven. The user ID is a correlation between my system and the authentication system, this system here. So, yeah, it's not being driven by me. Their ID is being driven by an external system, which I couldn't really know ahead of time. I could have guessed that a string would have been better there. I could have guessed that a string would have been better, but yeah. What's up, YouTube? So what am I making? Right now, I'm just making a lot of mess, playing around with a bunch of stuff. We're trying to we're trying to make some middleware so we can log in so that my cloud isn't as private as it is. Actually, another thing that we need to do is, if you guys noticed right now, if you go to nullcloud.io and it just sits here and spins and does nothing. That is because we now have a dynamic IP address. So we gotta work our way around dynamic IP addresses, which will be fun. Actually, that can stay there. Resources, resource groups can be in 64s. Orgs can also stay that. It's just this, which isn't an auto increment already. I already knew that it was going to be an external system. I just guessed int instead of string. That was a bad guess. Bad guess. So mine is done through Cloudflare. So I actually just have to call Cloudflare. It shouldn't be too hard. I just have to detect my IP change and send it to Cloudflare. And honestly, I could just do it on streaming days. So like, I could just update Cloudflare, you know, when I was doing it. I wouldn't have to have something that ran all the time. I could just have a start stream script for right now. What do I code in? Well, this is NeoVim. I use VS Code or NeoVim. I'm learning VS or NeoVim. I'm not very good at it. All right, where did we have a failure? It's not Python. This is Go. Yeah, this is Go. So I primarily, if I'm streaming, I try to write Rust because I like it more, and I've been learning it for the last little bit. So I definitely try to write Rust when I can. This specific thing is written in Go, so I have things that are written in both Go and Rust. I mean, on stream we have written other languages too, but that's not primarily what I do. Yeah, so Tilt. What does Tilt does? Tilt does actually a couple things. So the other thing that it does is it watches. So there's this Tilt file. I can't show it here. Let me show it over here. Not in the right directory. So I can show you the Tilt file. Basically, it's kind of like Docker Compose, but for Kubernetes. So it basically runs these services. And as soon as I make a change, it actually will rebuild the container and deploy it. Now, obviously here, it has errors that when it built. But this is actually deploying Kubernetes manifests into Kubernetes, and we can pull up like K90 and see those things. Let's see. Or K9S. I said K90 for some reason. So yeah, these are the services that are being. This is the API service. So this is the same log that you would get over here for the API service. What's up? Yeah, it's kind of nice. So basically, we have like these three things that are built and deployed. And so if I change any one of them, it will automatically build it and deploy it based off of the manifest. So it's got its own quirks. It's not perfect. One of the things is like I wish that it would allow me to do a little bit. Like this obviously isn't ready. Like when I made a big refactor, this thing sits there and rebuilds a bunch of times for no reason because I'm not even close to. Yeah. Anyways, but it's going to rebuild every single time I change a file because that is what it does. Actually, where did this say it was? Oh, and dumboff and new user. That is the name of a file. That is the name of a file. All right, let's see. Cannot use variable of type string as int64 in the argument to get, okay. This needs to be changed then. RDJ Power, are memory bugs less often in C++ than C? I don't think so. I mean, in theory, no. In theory, no. Now, I would say that C++ tends to be a little bit more complicated, which then I would say lends to more bugs. So, but I don't have that as a stat or anything. That's just a... See, it's already rebuilding because I saved a file. Which I wasn't, I wasn't ready. Wasn't ready for it to rebuild just yet, but... Objective-C is objectively hated by everyone. Objective-C is terrible. We can agree on that. I objectively object to Objective-C. Yeah, that's a pretty standard feeling, I feel like. All right, we are back to compiling. Let's see how this goes. How did that go? User is new, redirecting. Nailed it. Nailed it. All right, now we're cooking. Only a minor refactor. I don't know why I was wanting to say refractor. It's a refractor, guys. That's the 3 O's. Is that another Triforce of software development? We make Triforce of software development here. Maybe that's another one of them. Software is objectively object to Objective-C. Yeah. Okay, so now we can play around with what the front end. Again, I don't know if you guys know Monta. He goes by Monta on Twitch, and he goes by Overflow on Adam Overflow on Discord. You can have a soul, you can have Objective-C, and you can have fun. But pick two. Okay. Yes, Dutch. I like it. I like it. All right. Well, what I was going to say is Overflow made this for the Null Cloud. Looks pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. So I was going to say is we could start tying everything together because we got the backend APIs. This is what I don't know how we want to deal with. Overflow was talking to me, so we might leave this until he wants to deal with it. He was talking to me about how he'd like to deal with it with Vue. And it differed with how I was going to deal with it. So... yeah, my title is just ones and zeros. Look, I was sitting here and I was like, I'm just going to do random stuff. And I have to make a title. And that was kind of like, I couldn't come up with a title. I was like, what do I write again? And so I just spammed it with ones and zeros. I actually thought about actually encoding something in ones and zeros, like some ANSI form of something, ASCII form of something. And then I was like, you know what? It would be funnier to make everybody try to decode it. But it does start with a 1, which is maybe a mistake. I hadn't thought about that. Why can't you just use vanilla HTML, CSS, JS? RDJ Power, why don't you just use just use assembly? Just vanilla assembly. It's always going to be the best. Designed specifically for your CPU's architecture. I mean, we always use the tools that we pick because we think that they're going to accelerate us and they're going to make it faster. It's why I don't use assembly, because assembly would probably be the best if I could craft it, if I didn't have a skill issue. If I wanted to get a project done in a short period of time. Now, as far as front-end frameworks go, the thing is, you could do a bunch of things. Any large project gets complicated enough, and that's why these front-end frameworks are born, is because people try to solve certain aspects that are painful for them, and they try to solve it in a way that alleviates that pain. It gives it some structure to the chaos. Now, you can do small things in just the plain CSS, and it's great. And what we have done so far, you're probably right, we could do in something less robust than what we have. Absolutely. But the question then comes down to is, what did we want to learn? I wanted to learn Vue, so we picked Vue because I don't know Vue very well. I wanted to learn it. Every job that I've ever had uses React, and that's fine. It's easy to find devs that know it, and there's great knowledge bases off of it. I wanted to learn Vue. I tried HTMX. I really don't like HTMX. I think it's a cool idea. Yeah. And Overflow, Overflow likes Tailwind. So we're actually using Tailwind. I hate Tailwind, but I give it to him because he wrote a beautiful website that looks like this, and I didn't. So he gets to use Tailwind, and I will deal with it. So that's fine with me. Okay, so the idea with this is this. You have signed in as a new user. You have signed in as a new user. So you clicked here, and you clicked sign up, and you signed up as a new user. Actually, I need to clear my cookies for this. I need to clear my cookies, right? Let's clear my cookies. How do I clear cookies in... Okay, maybe like that. Beautiful. Nuked them all. Edge is a pain sometimes. All right. I don't know what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Oh, okay. So this is the workflow that I was working on in the backend code. You're a new user, and I want to get from you your name and other things. So when you're a new user and you've just signed up, your token doesn't exist in my database. So you've just signed up as a new user. So this is a new user. And in my backend database over here, that is not the picture that I meant for it to be. We're gonna spend some time and draw this out very carefully this time. There we go. In my backend database, my goodness. All right, recovering from that. All right, so we have a backend database that has all of our user information. So yeah, we'll just say users back here. And as a new user, you've actually just made an authentication. Now you could tightly couple and you could store all of this information in JWTs, but industry standard is that you don't usually do this. You don't overload that JWT. There's actually problems with this because they can only get to a certain size. Your claims area can only be so large. So if you get too much information and rely too much on it, you can actually end up breaking it. So anyways, the new user doesn't exist here. They exist as a authenticated user. They've made authentication for them. So when you are here and you sign up, you have created a authenticated user, but you haven't actually created a user in the system. And so any request after you've created your account that hits the backend service, there's some backend service here, that we currently just have a middleware that says, are you an actual user or are you a new user? And we check by saying, do you exist? If you exist, you're not a new user. If you don't exist, you're a new user. That's the logic that's happening here right now. Basically is we literally just check to see if they are in the database. If they're not, we say you can't access anything until you accept our terms of service. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. There's your custom just for you message, follow message. We generate those on the fly. Okay, so, you know, this new user, we want to know that they've accepted the terms of service. We'd like to get their name, and their email, or consent to send them stuff in their email. And so we want to do those three things and store that as our user in our database. So basically, you can't sign up and then hack it by being like, I want to go to my dashboard. We don't want that because you could do that if you didn't have basically this guard in here to say, no, you've got to sign the terms of service. You got to sign those types of things before you're a real user. So this is the workflow that we're doing. Now, a lot of things like Auth0 had actions, I think it was. Yeah, so there's different ways of dealing with this. There's some different ways of dealing with this, and I'm just bringing this up because I'm trying to give you guys my experience on the topic. You could use Auth0 actions, which basically says they'll take this and this new user when they sign up. So you have a new user, and they sign up with Auth0. We're just going to do that for Auth0. Auth0 has a way for you to run some code in the back end. and you can run code back here. Run code. This is terrible to follow. So you have a new user that makes a new user in Auth0. So authentication. And then you have some code that says, hey, we're going to call to their server to create the new user. And a lot of platforms have this. Clerk probably has this. That's what we're using. Clerk probably has this. There's a reason I don't use this. That says, okay, here's a new user. And it comes from a verified known backend. And this has like a server to server key that you can validate the request coming from. And there's a reason I don't like using this. This locks you into whatever platform you're doing. You have a special machine-to-machine communication to it. You have everything is special to how Auth0 does this. I like to keep this system agnostic to the authentication. That's how we're doing it. Means that no matter what provider, whether so, this is the thing that we're making is open source, and if you'd like to go run it and you want to run it with whoever, it shouldn't matter. The auth is an implementation detail that you can swap out with whatever you want, because I'm not providing auth right now. Okay, sorry, that was long-winded. Yeah, that's what it is. Go and HTMX sounds like your jam. I'd like to like HTMX. To be honest, I'd like to like it. I would like to like it. I don't. I actually do not like it. And I know it's a little weird because a lot of people thought I would be the person to like it because I hate front end. Oh shoot, do I remember how this needs to be fixed? I need to be able to hit tilde. I need to be able to hit tilde. I can never remember how to hit the stupid tilde. It's on layer 3? 2? Okay. So this and shift and this. No, that didn't work. Oh, I have to hit shift first before I... No, I should be able to go up since it's not assigned. I should be able to go up, right? Did I do it wrong? Huh. That's weird. I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it. So Dane, I need to make a follow-up video because I actually made a video and then I got into an argument with the creator of HTMX, which I love the argument. It was a good-natured argument where, you know, he was telling me his perspective. And he 100% agrees with my statement on, all right, if you have an HTMX backend and you have, which then means you have an HTMX front end, and you do have a dumb client running on the front end. And a lot of times you actually have more than a dumb client because if a menu is open, like this menu or not, you might want that to be a front end thing. Because you don't want to store if the client has their menu open in the database, in the backend. So this is actually state you want to be on the front end, and HTMX doesn't have anything to handle that. So no matter what they say, there is actually front end code that you have to write. Okay. And they'll all agree to that if you actually hold them to that you don't want is the menu open in the database. Okay. Moving on from that though. So you have this here where you have this backend, and this is all fine. But if you want to support an iPad, and you want to support a iPhone, and in my case, this is probably a bigger deal for me. I want to support a CLI. The Null Cloud should have a CLI that allows you to do stuff. So, we could even, I probably won't have these things, but I do want a CLI. The appropriate way here is to make your app back here, and this could have, I would prefer to see here, is your app be a protobuffer app. And your app has a database back here. I will draw this the safe way. Yes. All right. And then what you can do is you can write two front ends. This doesn't even have to be REST. This could be whatever you like that this CLI talks with. And both of these talk to this. And then, of course, this can talk to the database. This could talk to other services, if you like. And this is fine. I have no problem with this. The issue that I then run into this could use gRPC. Again, I don't care. gRPC, REST, don't care. Thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. And there's your customized message. This could use some proprietary thing. I'm not sitting here arguing. It could use a proprietary thing, a pro thing. There's a bunch of things that you could use. Now, my argument here, though, is that this is hard to grow organically. Because basically it forces you into microservices from the get-go. There is no monolith that you can do easily. You can combine all of these things into this thing, but that is pretty painful. That's pretty painful. It almost forces you into this architecture. And this is not an architecture that small teams, I think, is easier for small teams. So a lot of the allure of HTMX is you get rid of a lot of the cruft and you make it easier. So the whole thing is that it's supposed to save you time and energy. But my thing is, if you need a whole DevOps team or a platform team to do platform engineering to deploy the thing, have you really made your life easier? And if these are actually decoupled, where they don't depend on each other, that's a whole nother load of work that you have to do. I don't know, because again, this is where like the rabbit hole I went down, and this is why I haven't made another video on it, is because like I don't know what my thoughts are. This is fine. If you want to do this, it's fine. I just don't think it's made anything simpler for me. The Null Cloud right now is this right here. It's kind of not even a database, but we'll pretend it's a database. You have a database. You have a monolith, and you have a front end. This is it. it's hard to see this as simpler. And we do have a little bit of a CLI. We're working on a CLI, but I mean, it connects directly to the monolith as well. Because this just exposes a REST API. I don't know. Like I said, I'm happy to be wrong, and I'm happy to explore those things because I think it's really good learning. Actually, I think that we can take lessons from HTMX. We store too much information, too much state in the front end. We should be really sticky with what state is stored in the front end. I think that's a great takeaway. Let's say that unless if it's whether the menu is open or not, we don't store any of it in the front end. And maybe we change how we write front ends based off of that. I think that there's some really cool ideas in it. So I also am not sitting here hating on it. I think there's some really cool ideas that we can take and leverage, and even just concepts that we can take into other ones. It's like when I learned 5 years ago, I spent a couple weeks and wrote a little bit of Haskell. And it actually made me appreciate some of the concepts of like immutability. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm sitting here as a Haskell developer because I'm not, but it let me appreciate some of those things that I could actually apply to even C++. At the time I was writing C++. It must have been 7 years ago now. Okay, 7 years ago, where you can actually like state things as a constant and whatnot. So I was even able to take some of those things that I learned and leverage in a language that's completely different, that I think made me write better code. Dane, it's like straight up server-side rendering with PHP. HTMX is like server-side rendering with PHP. It's just straight up the same thing. Except not PHP, so it is better. Like... Oh, PHP. PHP, it's so wonderful. Still take PHP over Node? You're probably right. You know, I like to hate on PHP. I don't write a whole lot of PHP. Like I don't know its syntax fully. I've seen it. I know some of its syntax. But yeah, I don't even know its syntax that well. Like I couldn't sit here and just write a bunch of valid. I probably couldn't write a bunch of valid Go. Definitely couldn't do it with Rust. Ooh. Dutch, you think my CLI should use gRPC instead of REST? REST? No, you'd not be able to static embed your HTMX into your app. It's all on the server. It's all on the server. It also means like you couldn't do something like Visual Studio Code. I know. Love-hate relationship with Electron, but it removes that as a possibility. Whether you wanted to do it or not is beyond the point. You can't do it with one. You can with the other. So Dutch, in a HTMX app, there is no UI. There is no front end. There is a HTMX embedded library that calls your backend. And your backend then renders HTML data and sends it to the front end. So something like Electron says, you don't have to have this. We could have something without it. But that can't exist when there is nothing without the backend. I don't know if that's making sense, and maybe I'm not explaining that well. But whether you like Electron apps or not is not my arguing point here. I was just merely stating something like Electron is impossible with HTMX because it depends on the server doing it. And then if you embed the server in the front end, you've just done the same thing. That I mean, I think you've defeated the purpose if you do that. I think you've defeated the purpose if you've done that. Svelte doesn't, right? Svelte doesn't. It is Svelte Kit has its own server, right? It's not Svelte. Svelte is just the front end stuff, right? Oh, okay. I'm sorry if I'm being pedantic. But so I guess the reason I'm pedantic on this is it would be like saying React has server-side rendering. But it's actually Next.js. But I mean, like, don't get me wrong, Next.js uses React for the front end. React is the front end portion of it, and, you know, Next.js is back here. Well, I mean, it's not exactly that clean, but you get the point. I guess that's why I was being pedantic. But so is this really what you want? As a script? We're just going to log the things that were in the... Seems fine. I don't think we actually have Axios on the front end yet, so I don't think there's actually a way to submit this to the back end, would be the general idea here. And then we don't have a style because we're doing it in the... Yeah, we'll see how this works. What this looks like. Router. Uh-oh. I'm in the wrong... This is in the backend project. I got to get out of here. Yeah, I just vimmed straight there. But this screws up my my tree sitter stuff. My not tree sitter, telescope stuff. So this is where maybe I need to pause for tonight on this. Because this is what he was talking about, the route guards. And I don't understand the route guards, so I'm probably going to have to read on those tomorrow. My understanding of route guards is basically they let you run something in the front end, validate something before that you're allowed to do it. I'm not sure this is the right thing because it's my back end that knows whether it should happen or not. So, I mean, that something could be a back end request, but it feels like that's an extra call for every single request the front end makes. They would have to have this extra call. But I'm not the Vue expert, and he's done a fantastic job, so I hate to question that. Maybe we were not talking about the same thing, though. I'm not sure. So we got to talk about that, and I need to understand the route guards. So let's break into some Rust. Because basically we would want... Yeah, I gotta think about... I gotta talk to Overflow about this. I have some problems with this layout, this keyboard layout. I have two problems specifically. I use super as my key for i3. And really we're on this. But J is how I use i3 to go one over. Which means I can't hold it. Which means I have to hold it up here, which is kind of weird. That's probably inconsequential. Tilde. Tilde's my main one. Let's put tilde on the Pro++. Let's put tilde over here. No. You're not going to be Q. You're going to be tilde. Not the label. When tapped. Tilde. We should just make it a backtick so we can use shift. No, I don't want to use shift. I just want it to be tilde. Then we'll put backtick as a thing here too. This will be backtick. All right. So now we hold down our pinky on our right hand and tilde backtick. Boy, that's going to feel weird. I don't know if this is the right way of doing this. I actually feel like all of this should be moved back over here. I did it this way because I wanted my gaming layer. So, you know, when I was playing Baldur's Gate. Man, that game's rough. Baldur's Gate is rough. Where would I put it? Here. Where would I put it on here? This is exclamation point. I'm trying to do more with the home rows. Now, what I think I can do is I thought that I couldn't override these momentary press ones, but I think that I can't override them on a layer that is lower than what they momentarily go to. So this one goes to layer 4. That means on 4, 3, 2, or 1, I can't override them because that wouldn't make sense. I have to be holding it, right? But I think I can just give this something else. Like, let's see. Let's just give it G. Yeah. So that being said, I think I could switch this where this hold is over here. And then our Pro++ layer is over here. I think this would feel more natural. Get our tilde up there. Get our backtick up here. Because this is the hand that usually handles these things anyhow. And then we're going to clear this. And we're going to clear this. Usually shouldn't matter anymore. You're right. I'm struggling with it how it is. So that's why I'm changing it up. All right. That brings us to Pro++, our Pro layer. So my right hand usually does navigation, like within Vim. And so I think this will feel a lot more natural to me because I use these for navigation in Vim a lot. I think. I don't know. I don't know. This has just been very weird for me. And tilde has been not great for me. So now while holding R, we can just tilde it up. Tilde it up right there. Bam. I'm never going to remember that for a little while. This is going to be weird, but I'm going to try to get used to this. And then we still have the gaming layer. So one thing that I found is that the long hold things, you can't game with them. Even though like this is the same thing, you long hold here, done with gaming. All of a sudden you're hitting super and you're switching layers. And my goodness, that was rough. So you want a dedicated gaming layer. That's what I did. Oh, I didn't change the main layer. Oops. That's okay. I'm still doing most stuff on Cordy. I was trying to like flip through i3 while that was happening. It's like, why is my keyboard not working? It's not working. Statch. Typing. I did it again. I just didn't type the M. I didn't. No, I typed it right. Oh. That's because we're just working on. That was just a skill issue. There we go. Purely a skill issue. Usually I set it up like the open source way, but I forgot to this time. Or haven't yet. All right. That's good. Sorry. I just wanted to check with that really quickly. Okay. So let's do a little Rust. Actually, we only have like 15. We only have like half hour. Can we get into something in Rust in a half hour? Oh, hey buddy. Hey buddy. You doing good? This guy gave me a bloody nose the other day. He decided that he needed attention, and I hadn't been giving it to him. And so he decided to, rub his head on my nose as hard as he could, right in the middle of a meeting. So he like jumped up onto my face, I guess. I don't know. He's a big boy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that we have anything else to do. I don't know what else. I can't go late tonight. I'm too tired. So maybe we just call it good for tonight. And they're molting because it's not molting. Shedding? What is it when cats do it? What do cats do in the spring? More restless. That's not actually what I was looking for. I meant when they lose all their hair. It's not molting. That's what birds do. Is it just called shedding? It's not shedding. What is it called when cats lose their hair in the spring? It's the worst time to own a cat. Is it just called shedding? Okay, maybe it's just referred to as shedding. I don't know that I trust ChatGPT, but... molting. I think molting's for birds, though. Yeah, old feathers. Blowing coat. This is the term I'm using from now on. Oh. All right. Well. There you guys go. Let's see if we can't find somebody to raid. Does anybody know of anybody that's on right now doing something more productive than I am? Which is just about everybody. Let's see. Dane, are you getting on to stream? I'll stream a little bit longer until you get on. I'll raid you. I'm currently looking for people that I know. Oh, here is Master Snoods. He's been a supporter. Are you getting on, Dane? If you are, I'll wait for you. If not, I will raid Master Snoods. He does some Zig. What is he doing? I think he's doing Golang today. Oh, no. All right, let's do Snoods. All right. All right, thanks everybody for joining me. You guys have a fantastic evening, morning, day, whatever it may be. And thanks for joining me. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your, whatever. And hopefully we'll be a little bit more productive on Thursday. Although we figured it out, so that was good. All right, see you guys. Bye.